The Prime Minister chose to make the visit with larger Indian security and political interests in view. Now, and then Netanyahu fully exploited this visit to his advantage. Of course, he honored our Prime Minister, who spoke at the Knesset. He gave him this award and everything else. So he boosted his own political position within Israel. And for him, it's extremely important that the leader of a country like India, for 1.4 billion people,
a democracy,
has no reservations in an atmosphere where there's a likelihood of a war, to visit Israel and embrace Israel. We have, of course, very, how should I say, interest in Israel, which are very important and vital in many ways on the defense side and this and that. So the Prime Minister went there, paid a visit, a state visit to Israel at a time when the threat of war was there and the United States Armada was in position. And Netanyahu has been baying for Iran's blood and pushing the United States to attack, and made no bones of the fact that since Iran was at its weakest at this point in time, this was the time to take out this regime permanently. So despite all this, which is obvious, the Prime Minister chose to make the visit with larger Indian security and political interests in view. Now, and then Netanyahu fully exploited this visit to his advantage. Of course, he honored our Prime Minister, who spoke at the Knesset. He gave him this award and everything else. So he boosted his own political position within Israel. And for him, it's extremely important that the leader of a country like India, for 1.4 billion people,
a democracy,
has no reservations in an atmosphere where there's a likelihood of a war, to visit Israel and embrace Israel. Now, that's what you said. We seem to have taken sides. Now, maybe our own thinking is that Israel and the United States have the upper hand, and Iran is on the back foot. And we could take this risk because at the end of the day, we will be with the stronger side. This could be the reasoning. I don't know if this was the reasoning, but this could be the reasoning. But now, to place ourselves once again in a position where we are not seen as aligned to the other side in the context of what has happened thereafter in terms of taking out Khamenei, which is such an utter violation of any norm of international behavior, international law, the UN Charter and everything else. And of course, open calls for regime change and everything else. If we had wanted to balance it a little bit, I think personally, we should have condoled the death of Khamenei without accusing the United States, without even mentioning the United States, purely as to recognize the fact that a head of state of a country, contrary to norms of international law, has been politically assassinated.
So the signing of the register a couple of days later was too little too late?
So I'm glad that Vikram Misri went and signed the register in order to, in some ways, undo the impression that we were remiss in not immediately expressing condolences. And I think we've also missed the opportunity to, as I said in my post also, to express our condolences for the death of the Iranian sailors with the sinking of INS Dana. There again, we need not have at all referred to why this happened, in the sense, don't mention the United States, don't mention anything. Since they were your guests, purely on an humanitarian basis, you express condolences. for what had happened.